boxing with Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, I just want to sort of superficially explain the dilemma in trying to pick the winner of this fight. So a lot of people are going to say, well, Crawford is the guy they favor to win because they've seen Crawford display his versatility uh, in front of everyone. We've seen Crawford in fight Ricky Burns. I beat Ricky Burns by fighting on the inside. We've seen Crawford outbox guys like Jose Benavidez, fighting him from the outside, even though Jose Benavidez has longer reach, and he was able to still reach Jose Benavidez in the final round, stop him. We've seen him stop a lot of fighters as well, and some of them of good pedigree. The recent one being Sean Porter. And we've seen him do various things: fight southpaws, orthodox, fast fighters, small fighters, big fighters. We've seen him fight various types of fighters, adapt to the different styles, and as of late, he's been on a KO streak since he's been at welterweight. In fact, in his entire welterweight reign, not one single welterweight has survived him. He's knocked out every single welterweight he has been facing. All right. So, because of that, Terence Crawford is seen by some as the favorite. Okay. Um, but even though Errol Spence hasn't shown us as much versatility and doesn't shown us as much plasticity, we know that Errol Spence can box off the back foot if he wants to, and he can make a fight. He can make adjustments in fights if he wants to. So, but we mostly know Errol Spence is a guy who's a tremendous body puncher, tremendously active, always consistently bringing the heat, bringing the pressure on his opponents. You know, but that's not all that Errol Spence can do, obviously. And so, as a result of that, there's a certain wild card factor in there. There's stuff that we don't know about. Like Errol, once he finds out that he can work your body, he can work you, he can work certain angles and come at you and put pressure on you, he's going to do that. But as you saw with Danny Garcia, he kind of stayed on the outside, even though he was pressuring Danny Garcia. And he was very careful because he realized Danny Garcia could counterpunch him. And Danny Garcia actually landed certain shots on him. So Errol's a smart fighter. He doesn't just bring pressure; he brings pressure in a smart way, and he makes adjustments. He's very athletic, and at the same time, he can change levels. He can do different things and prod you, and stay just on the outside. He can walk you down. We saw against Sean Porter how he knocked down Sean Porter and kind of wore him down on the inside with his body punching. So I'm just saying that's the Errol Spence we know. But that's not his only way of fighting. We saw him box off the back foot against Mikey Garcia and just put on a boxing clinic pretty much on him. Even though he did also wear down Mikey Garcia when he could on the inside when Mikey Garcia was able to cut the distance. So Errol can do various things. Terence Crawford has a 74-inch reach. Terence Crawford is a little about the same height as Errol Spence, but he's got a much longer reach than Errol. So if Terence wanted to box him, he could. Terence shows that he can lock up a guy if he doesn't want him working on his body or working on him. So Terence has shown us a lot of stuff. Errol Spence has not shown us everything he can do. Clearly, he can do a lot more than he has been doing. And I do believe Terence Crawford will push him to do more. Clearly, he will have to do more than he's been doing. If he just tries to walk in there and break down Terence Crawford, he's going to lose the fight. I believe, though, that Errol has different gears to him, and he can do a lot more than we have seen him do. That is the wild card in the whole thing, and that is what's throwing a monkey wrench into my prediction. I can't really predict uh, everything that Errol can do because I haven't seen everything that Errol can do. Because Errol's constantly sparring guys bigger than him, guys who are walking him down, or guys who are baiting him into traps. And he's a smaller guy, and he knows what to do when you're a smaller guy and the bigger guys are coming at you. So I think that it's not as straightforward as it looks, with Errol versus Terence Crawford, and that is the problem. Now I know Terence Crawford is a smart fighter and he makes adjustments in fight, but Errol pretty much has shown us he could do that. Even though he tries to be more aggressive with it, he tries to stay as close in range as possible to break you down. So I'm not sure exactly. A lot of people think some people think that Errol's going to break down Terence Crawford and break him down and get to him and stop him. That's not easy to do for starters with Terence Crawford. So I can't necessarily, I don't see Errol winning the fight just by coming at, bringing pressure at Terence Crawford, nonstop pressure. I don't see him winning the fight that way. Because Terence Crawford has several different tools and methods he can use to stop Errol from doing that. So Errol has to pull out more tools from his toolbox, I believe. And I think some of those tools from the toolbox are some that he has not consistently in several fights demonstrated. And I think that's the thing that a lot of us are missing. So for me to predict this fight and to say who's going to win, I don't know. While Terrence has shown me more, Errol can have a couple of trump cards in his deck that we don't know about. So I'm not clear as to who will win the fight between Errol and Terence Crawford as a result of that. And so for me, it's better if I don't predict that fight and I just watch it to see what will happen. Because we're talking about two prime fighters. We're talking about two skilled southpaw prime fighters who are at the top of their game, and I don't know which one of them will win. To be honest, I have to be totally honest. I don't think that size and weight is a factor in this fight anymore. Even though Errol Spence is the natural welterweight that has come up in welterweight, I believe Terence Crawford is now a big, powerful welterweight. He stopped welterweights, strong welterweights like Sean Porter in the welterweight division. I can't say that size is a factor in this fight. It's going to styles make fights. In this case, this is going to be a clash of two styles, very dynamic styles, and I'm very curious to see how those styles mesh together. And to see some of the wild card stuff that Errol Spence has been hiding from us for the longest while, which hopefully Terence Crawford can bring out of him, and then we can really find out what's really going on. So that's what I got for you guys. I'm what you need. That's what makes the fight kind of very interesting and very difficult to really figure out. But it's going to be a historic event when this fight is nailed down. It hasn't been nailed down yet. People have been throwing around dates, and people have been saying that it's close to agreement. But until official word comes on it, I can't really have a say on the dates or whatever. But I'm going to tell you this. No matter how much I observed, no matter how much I studied the styles of both fighters, there's stuff that we don't know. And the stuff that we don't know is what leads me to believe that this is a fight I can't predict. And I just can't predict. I have no way of predicting it because I don't have enough information. I need to get the information on Errol's side to fully say who would win. As it stands, you know, I favor Terence because Terence has shown me more, but that does not necessarily mean that Terence will win the fight. So that's what I got for you guys. This is going to be a great fight, and I'm looking forward to seeing who wins. But I just thought I would talk about it and what makes it so difficult for me to make a prediction on it. All the other fights, I can make a prediction. I'm probably going to be correct with certain fights because, you know, you can tell who's going to improve as a fighter or who's improving because they're growing and getting more experience in boxing. So certain fights like the Donaire Inouye fight, off the top of my head, without me having to look at anything, not even to look at both fighters, I would say that that fight goes to Inouye. I think Inouye's the one in the position to either win or lose that fight because he's faced Donaire before. He's been able to drop Donaire. And so I do believe if he keeps his dedication and he takes that experience with the first fight into the second fight, I think he's going to do a lot better. And like some people said, stop Donaire at some point because Donaire, especially if he's specializing in landing body punches and goes back to that left hook to the body, we'll see what Donaire has as an answer for that because he still left that cushion up in the air. So it'll be interesting to see in this successive fight what happens. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys right now. I just wanted to say that that's what makes it difficult to predict the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight. I think that's going to be a huge fight, and I think that's one a lot of us, fight fans and even casuals, are going to catch on to, and it's everybody in the boxing world who will want to see that fight. That's a fight everyone will want to see. Another fight that everyone will want to see is Tyson Fury versus the winner of Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. That unification is huge, just like Spence versus Crawford is huge. That unification is going to be big. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys. I am what you need. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.